Stormfront, we are starting season 4 of Star Trek Enterprise. And if you've been watching along, then you know that I love the first 2 seasons big time. Love them. Up amongst some of the best Star Trek ever for me. I love the first 2 seasons. Season 3, yeah, it's a show. It's a show with a lot of fighting and pew pew. So I guess it's cool if you like that, but I don't like that for Star Trek Enterprise at least. Season 4, starting out with a two-parter. At the end of season 3, Archer got trapped in time, and so did the Enterprise. I kind of wish that didn't happen. I wish they would have just kind of concluded that and not have a stinger. But you need a stinger to get people to come back, so what are you going to do? They're stuck in the past. Guess what? It's the Nazis. I'm kind of like done with that storyline now. They're evil, they're scumbags, they're pieces of garbage. There's not anyone who thinks these guys are cool, okay? And they make somewhat decent villains because you automatically hate them, but there's not much left to explore in terms of making them interesting villains. You just hate them. So you could just shoot them and then be done with it. They're great in action movies like The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. You just see a whole bunch of them get shot. They're all assholes and they all get killed. And you're like, yes. Star Trek doesn't play that way. They're not going to go around shooting everybody. So you have to make it a bit more interesting. So their solution to that was to have aliens there. There's aliens who are manipulating, or at least using, the Nazis to their advantage. That's where the interesting part comes in. However, I wasn't that interested. So we're going to use my space system: story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. In each category, you get a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best in every category. I'm going to give the storyline a 1, which means I like it. If I give it a 5 or 6, that's a pass. A 5 or 6 out of 10 is a pass. I'll give it a 1 point for the storyline. Again, it's okay. There needs to be a Nazi episode where in every Star Trek or something like that, the past where it was turmoil or whatever. And this one's okay. Like, I mean, they're trapped. It's like, they're just going to get out of it. I felt like it was just kind of, again, this probably could have been 1 part, not 2. The aliens, they're okay. Like, they look cool. But they're not that interesting to me. They're just there to be there. And like, why did they join with the Nazis? Like, if all they care about is building their thing and getting home or whatever, why didn't they join, Britain then, or what, join the Allied forces? I don't like. Why did you join the Nazis? Like, it's just like, oh, because they needed to be the villain here. It would have been more interesting. And more of a dilemma if they had joined and Churchill is using them. And then you have to figure out how Archer's going to convince him you can't use these aliens, right? That would have been a little bit more interesting. That would have been a 2 out of 2 story. This is a 1 out of 2 story. Pacing, I'll give it a 1. There's a little bit of like meandering around. I feel like the Enterprise, they don't know what to do with it. It's like it's in space there. It's in orbit. And they're like, let's take a shuttle down. And then they're discovered in like 2 seconds. Like, you can't beam anymore. Like, you were beaming people. In the beginning of Enterprise, they didn't want to beam people because they were scared. Now they've beamed people a bunch of times, like just beam down. So, whatever. Archer's kind of part is okay. He's been captured. He's trying to figure out how to get away. Whatever. Meets up with this girl. We'll get to the characters in a minute. So yeah, it's a 1. Artistry, 1. I mean, again, it's on Earth in the past. Nothing special there. There wasn't really any ship battles or anything, so everything looks fine. Everything looks good. Nothing to really complain about, but nothing to die over. Characters, I'll give it a 1.5. The reason I'm giving it a 1.5 is that, firstly, I always give it a 1 because I do like the crew of the Enterprise, so they're still solid. I'm giving it an extra 0.5 for the girl that he meets. I actually really liked her a lot. He meets up with this woman, and she's been surviving here in America. So in this timeline, the Nazis have gotten a lot further. They're in America. I liked her story a lot, and there's a couple of kind of gangster guys, like Italian kind of mobster guys with her, and they were kind of cool too. They were kind of fun. The villains I'm not dying over, so that's where we're at for the villains. I can't get into the villains. They're just kind of there. So we'll see how it goes in the part 2. But I really liked her and the mobsters. Enjoyment factor, I'm going to give the enjoyment factor a 1.5, which seems odd since I just gave everything else a 1. I actually liked this one. I thought it was kind of neat. But objectively speaking, there's not a hell of a lot going on that we haven't seen in other shows before. That's sort of where I'm at. I still kind of liked it even though it was simple. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 final score. It's a pass, just barely a pass. It's fine. This is one of these ones where we have to see how part 2 plays out. So I'll watch part 2 probably tonight, and I'll do another video then. So I'm way ahead of watching than when you guys are seeing these videos posted. So anyways, that's it for that one. If you like my space system, please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, check out the playlist for Star Trek. I've done original series and the first 3 Enterprises by now. So that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time.